Okay, this video is all thanks to ACO, India's tech-first insurance company. Higgins, I've been looking forward to today because I've just mentioned India there. And look, there's been a lot of polite inquiries over the last couple of weeks and months about the subject of our content. Like lots of Australia, lots of Pakistan, people seem to have issues with that. And lots of, oh, why don't you do India, Sri Lanka? Why don't you do Tamil Nadu and Karnataka? Why don't you film yourself drinking whiskey with Ravi Shastri? And, I would like to do that. We would like to do that, but we just can't be everywhere at once. But now we can smell the IPL, can't we? He goes. We can smell some cricket in India or another country if logistical matters dictate that, but let's hope not. And, you're thinking about cricket and you're thinking about what's funny. And we think, let's get this bad boy rolling. And we've got a lot of coverage coming up for the IPL, don't we? We've got 3 review shows. We've got Watto's Rap is back from Delhi. We've got comedy shows. We've got Ask TGC Live. We've got some fan stuff, maybe. We've got to work that out. We've got player interviews. So there's a lot coming up. But we thought, let's have a look at the IPL. Let's start having a look at what's funny. And where else do you start than with a man who traverses the cricket and humor landscape in India, possibly the world, better than anyone else? Who better to school us on the written rules, the unwritten rules, the areas to go with, comedy in India, the areas to stay away from, than this man who is a polymath. When we research him, he's an actor, host, comedian, content creator, maybe Virat Kohli's best mate. And we thought, let's do something. I have no idea if we're about to be alphaed off the planet by this guy, or if we're allowed to talk about alter egos or whatever. But I think the uncertainty is good for a chat like this. So it's our pleasure to welcome to the grade cricketer is a man that what we'd say in Australia is a big dog. And that's a compliment. Welcome to the show, Danish SAIT. Danish, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very, very kind introduction. And I must say, I'm not Virat Kohli's best mate, because just last night we were on a flight from Bengaluru to Bombay. And I think he just wrapped up on the India-Sri Lanka test. He was in business class and I was sitting in premium economy. There's still a line I couldn't cross. But of course, he did when the flight landed. And it doesn't matter who you are in India. The moment the wheels hit the tarmac, you stand up. You just want to run out of the door. And I was so happy to see Virat do it as well, because I do it all the time. Like, the guys who just are waiting to pick their bags and run out.
Yeah.
Wife, and he looked at me and then he waved and he gave us a very nice big smile from under his mask, and we were happy to see him as well. But I can assure you, I'm not his best mate, but the opportunity, and I'm very grateful to it, that over the last 6 years I've got to spend so much time around people who play cricket, because like I told you guys, I was telling my wife about the great cricketer, and she said, so are they cricketers? I said, they tried and they failed. It was a podcast. So she said, isn't that a little like you? And I said, yeah, very different. You guys are the great cricketer and I was the third great cricketer, and a third rated cricketer. I was so bad at the game, but I'm so glad that I'm still around it.
That was gonna be my first question, Danish. I mean, it's really the only question I've got. It's just can you catch? That's all I want to know. Just can you catch? If I threw my keys to you, would you secure the keys?
Yeah, I would. I would go in for a catch like this, which in most cases terrible. That's terrible. You never go catch the ball like this. Now, of course, over a period of time that I've been at practice sessions, I see people going like this and like this, and like, this, and then like passing it to the other guy, and they're all doing these drills. But I think there's something classic about catching a ball like this. If you can catch it this way and do it often enough, I bet you're better than John T. Rhodes.
Danish, like how satisfying is it for you as a like highly professional, sought after comedian, particularly in the cricket world as well. Like just to see two Aussie guys like cuck themselves before an Indian audience, you know, proclaiming the arrival of the Asian century and, you know, confirming the dominance of India in all cricket matters on their knees, you know, hoping that we'll be liked.
You know, one of the first Australian cricketers that I interacted with was Shane Watson, I think. And he's such an affable human being. It would be hard to not like him. He's a really nice guy. And the most recent experience I had with him was at the T20 World Cup in Dubai, where he was one of the commentators, and we were staying at the same hotel. And I remember bringing my guitar to him in the middle of the night and him playing songs and entertaining all of us. And he didn't seem like the kind of guy who was going to bend over backwards to win love. But when I see some of the cricketers now, you know, they've all turned into sort of full-time yoga instructors, part-time cricketers. They're just bending over backward, doing they're all dancing, you know, they're doing everything they can to get hold of the Asian market, you know, just doing everything. And I'm like, but I thought Cricket Australia has big contracts. I'm like, why are you so desperate, bro? Let me do this. Like, I need the money more than you do. Can you just keep playing cricket and let me do the other things? But yeah, just like I'm sort of traversing worlds and kind of trying to make the most of it for a better living. It looks like even the cricketers are doing the same thing.
I note that you're so obviously so big in India and loved, adored, huge fan base there in India and India only.
Man, India's too big. That's the thing, Ian. That's what you need to understand. India is too big. Just this morning, I woke up to a tweet that said, never press a record button and get in front of a camera. So there's at least one guy who hates me, right? So it's hard. It's hard. India is such a big country, unlike you know, other countries where, you know, you're absolutely loved, or, you know, there are fence sitters, and then there are people who absolutely hate you. In India, whether it's love or whether it's hate, it all comes in equal proportions. Like I was speaking with Sam this morning, and I told him my last film, the IMDb rating is 4.5. So you tell me, am I really loved everywhere in India? Maybe not.
I was gonna ask you though, like, you're obviously so recognized, at least, that in India, if not loved, at least recognized. People know who you are. But then when you're talking to like the overseas guys, you know, like Faf or Shane Watson, especially at RCB, a lot of them are like, who the fuck's this guy?
It started off with who the fuck's this guy. I agree. But that problem existed for the first 2 years, after which the property took over. And here's the thing about a successful digital property that was created about 6-7 years ago. Everybody wanted to go digital after that. And it was a great way to connect with the fans. So even if I didn't try too much, they came and invariably became a part of the videos themselves. And I say this to you in all honesty, the cricketers have been extremely helpful. And I've said this to Virat on multiple occasions. I've said, you know, thank you for being a part of my career. You don't even know in how many ways you've influenced it. I've said this to AB. And the fact of the matter is, for a lot of the other cricketers who aren't as recognized as them, this is a great platform to be out there, because they look fun, they look casual, they look cool, and they're speaking to a demographic that eventually is going to follow them back on Instagram and Facebook and so on and so forth. So I think that what started off as who the fuck is this guy has now turned into, oh, we need to be on this show. It's engagement. It's part of our duty. And that's made life a lot simpler. It's become a lot more professional. So, you know, I don't have to wear my wig and my mustache and hang around as Mr. Nags. But I can kind of schedule, these are scheduled interventions now. You understand what I mean? Like it's, he's going to come shoot, and he's going to leave. So they understand their roles and responsibilities. I understand mine. And I think people have been very gracious and kind.
I don't know if you're like allowed to reveal any secrets, Danish, but like when like our observation of like doing some stuff into India is just like
the last time an RCB player got onto this podcast, There was trouble.
Well, let's go there. I was gonna say, man,
I am going to be very, very careful about what I say here. Okay, I will, because I need a job, guys. Understand? Okay, I have a wife. I have 2 cats. I still have bank balance to build. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So ask me your question now.
I'll go to that question. Yeah, like we chatted with. We have to ask. This is what people are waiting for. You know, we were chatting to Kyle and Dan Christian, and they're telling a story about Virat in the nets or something. You know, wake up in the morning, the content's gone. You know, we tried to ask Simon Kadich about it, who was coach. He said, "Oh, look, I knew about it, but I'm not going to say anything. No one really knows." Some people were suggesting even, you know, Nags was just unhappy at the content. You know, can you clear that up on behalf of him?
I certainly will. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what the content was. I didn't watch it. I'll be very honest with you. All I know was the pot was boiling, and I've never liked anything hot. I prefer it lukewarm or cold. So I didn't even go near it. But I do know one thing, that when we create content here, it always goes up. Nothing gets edited. Nothing gets cut out. Something that's working while you guys have done something that hasn't worked. We can exchange notes about this, but man, he's quite chill, to be honest. I'll be very honest with you. Virat is quite chill. And I can say this with absolute confidence because the video is up on Instagram, on my Instagram feed. The day he announced, you know, that him and his wonderful wife Anushka were going to be parents, I did a video mimicking the Indian media and, you know, sort of did like a parody news headliney piece about Virat and his, you know, sort of step into the future as a father. And I sent it to him first. I said, "Bro, can I put this up?" And he was absolutely fine with it. And he laughed himself and said, yeah, have fun with it. I think he's got a sense of humor. I just don't know how and where this thing blew up, because I've been working with the man for 7 years. And I can tell you that he's as human as anybody else is.
I bet.
I don't know what Kyle's name is.
It doesn't really explain why I woke up that morning with a horse's head in my bed, dressed in full RCB kit, but that was just something that happened, and the video just disappeared. I'm just telling you what happened.
I don't know. I'm just gonna like get that Godfather reference and move on from there.
Now, I don't want to give you our best, you know, our very best content ideas, but will you be interviewing Virat in a towel this year?
You know, it would be lovely to interview him in a towel. For the longest time, I wanted to, in fact, do an interview with Chris Gayle in a bathtub. But the bathtub's in India. And both of us together wouldn't fit in there unless we have like a few, you know, parts of our bodies touching each other. So we never ended up doing that. But Chris was, again, great to work with. I, in fact, hung out with him at the Abu Dhabi T10 Originals.
Oh, yeah.
You guys do realize there are lots of tournaments happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sort of. On crickinfo.com, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's just Australia, Pakistan at the moment.
And Chris Gayle is just everywhere. He's in every league. Right. So I recently hung out with him, and he's, again, such a nice guy. You know, the thing is, when you know these guys at such proximities, and when you realize that there's a circle of trust around them and us, they know it. I think it's more important for them to trust people like us, because the power of media is so huge. More importantly, the power of social media, that the moment they understand that, okay, this person is not going to A, misuse my footage, or B, misuse content that I'm giving this person, because, man, I'll tell you, India is complex. You know, South Asia is complex. There are things that these guys can do at their level. There are things that they can't do at their level. It's it comes as a part of the responsibility, right? It's an occupational hazard, and none of them are complaining. But it's just that the onus, again, then kind of falls on everybody around them and them to make sure that whatever goes out is safe from, you know, falling into any trouble or leading to a controversy. Like, I was just watching a stand-up set the other day, right? I'll give you an example of how, these rock bands in the US and so on and so forth. You'll see the bass guitarist putting his foot on the monitor while he's on stage, and then playing, the guitar away to all glory and all of that stuff. And in India, there was a guy who placed his foot on the monitor, and the sound guy pulled the cable off. And said, how dare you step on my monitor? That thing brings me my bread and butter.
Jesus.
So a rock star can't be a rock star here. You know what I mean? Like, he got dual lives. Like, a guy in Australia might wake up with a tattoo in his eyeball and live like that for the rest of his life. In India, his mother will wake him up at 6 a.m. and say, get the fuck out, go bring milk and come back. You know what I mean? He's not really like living like, the rock star life. Nobody's living that way. Everybody's got to either downplay it, or they come from such simple places that they're all just simple people. You know what I mean?
I think it's really interesting, mate. Like, I was curious as to how you feel about that as a comic, because we're new, to the arena in India. And one thing for us, mate, for example, is just to give you like a comparison. Like, we we were really lucky through ACO to interview Shubman last year. Like, that was a big deal for us, particularly because he sort of destroyed our hopes and dreams at the Gabba. Yeah. And like that, that experience was amazing, and he was great. Like, and obviously good looking rooster too. But like, before we got jumped on the call, there's like 3 or 4 people on the call beforehand, like Rahul jumps on and Abhishek and these guys, and they're just waiting, and that was just new to us. And we had to be seen by a few people, and we're really happy with how it turned out. But then, like, when we interviewed a few weeks before that, like Pat Cummins, he just I just DM'd him, and he's in bed. He just had to put a shirt on, and his bed was unmade, and he just did it. I just wonder how it is for you.
That's not just with the podcast. That's how he became the captain as well. You think about it. You went to Shubman Gill, right, last year, and in a year, from the great cricketer, you've become the downgrade cricketer, and you've come to me.
The downgrade cricketer.
You see how complex this is. It isn't easy. Like, it's just that, the society and the world and the sort of thing that they live in and exist in. It's hard, man. It's hard. Like, for example, at the end of IPL, when IPL is done and when we go back home, I can text them and say hi or hello or, hey, congratulations. And I know I'll get a response in return. But that's it. That's where it ends. These 2 months are special. We have a great time together. It's a little, I can tell you, as somebody who's from outside the cricket system, that their lives are not easy. Their lives are just not easy, especially Indian cricketers. And because every move of theirs is scrutinized. I'll give you a great example. I was, towards the end of last year, I was doing the IPL in Dubai with RCB. And right at the back of that, like literally the day IPL got over, my wife and I jumped into a car and we moved to another hotel for the ICC World Cup. And just the difference in lifestyles was so evident, right? Like, here there's absolute opulence, and here there is like, hey, this is your room, just step in. We're like, can we have a balcony? They're like, sure. They give us the balcony. We step out and there's a wall right in front of it. So we're like, oh, this wasn't what we were hoping for. And these guys moved from that bubble to the other bubble. And then I got into the real world right at the back of that in Jan, Feb, March. And in the month of Jan, I had a series release on a platform that's owned by Viacom Network called Woot. Then the following month, I had a film release on Amazon Prime Video, which I wrote, and that's the film that has the rating which we laughed about at the beginning. Just the stark difference in being absolutely quiet to being in front of people, exposed, out there to dry. Man, I took a beating on my mental health, and these guys go through it with every ball they face. Because cricket is that big in India. It's huge. It's humongous. I don't think any other sport is so actively followed and lauded or criticized. So I think that's why, they have their guards up a little bit. like all of them know about the great cricketer. All of them, talk about it. All of them have heard about it. All of them have probably consumed episodes. But I think in time they'll free up. It's just that it needs to get a little cooler. It's happened with actors in India. There was a time when anonymity made them this almost this unicorn. There was a time when radio hosts were anonymous and they were unicorns because people couldn't see them. And then social media came about and everybody was like, here, look at me. Just look at me. Look at me. This is my beer opener. This is my wife. This is my cat.
This is my wife.
That's my wife.
That's not my wife. That's her AirPods. But that's my mother. I'm just going to scan everyone in.
Your mum's a fork.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying that, it's almost like everybody started doing that and anonymity went out of the window and hence superstardom as well. The guys who were superstars remain superstars and the ones who are just coming up now are just regular people because everybody has an opinion about what you do. So it's it's an occupation hazard, but you got to kind of, I'm sure that most of them, at least, I think they'll open up a lot more. I think they will open up a lot more because when I do things with them, I feel like they're not that close. There's an element of trust because I've built this over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for me either when I started, but it's taken me 7 years to get here. And even now, I can't traverse and go to another team and get an interview there. I just can't. I won't be allowed. Yeah. But I can stay within RCB and do whatever conversation or Mr. Nag's videos or the podcast or whatever, but it has to be in the confines of this. So it's a very interesting space. The recognition from here is great because when I went to the World Cup, players from the other teams as well came up and said hi. So that means to say that they're watching and consuming content for certain. It was interesting, man. I mean, I'll give you a great example. Australia won the World Cup, the T20 World Cup in Dubai. And I ran onto the pitch and there were players who've played with RCB and now play with Australia. Like Maxi was in tears when he hugged me and said, so good to see you. And I will always be grateful to RCB for that because if this hadn't happened, I don't think that would have happened.
You've certainly got a few excuse me, irons in the fire, so to speak, Danish, as well. You obviously got Nags, you've got the podcast, you acting, doing stand-up. Pez and I have a podcast and we actually have Amazon Prime. So that's we sort of it's actually an ex-girlfriend's account,
a loyal subscriber.
That's right. So we're also, we're all busy. We're all working here. But like what's I am working here. Like what gets Danish SAIT up in the morning? Is it film? Is it cricket? Is it something else? Is it your wife? What is it?
It's honestly just the idea of working. I think it's the idea of just working hard. I enjoy the process of working and just seeing things come alive. It's like an interview that you guys do. You just know when magic happens. You guys just know when the moment is there. You just know when you're getting it right. I think it's that unknown and the idea of just cracking and suddenly being in this space where magic happens. I think that's what keeps me driven. I sometimes do wake up and feel like, man, what am I doing? I know those days it's the money that motivates me. I'm being very honest about it. I'm very honest about it. Then there are days when I feel like, man, the creative rush is so good. So it's a mix of I'd be lying if I said the money wasn't. We'd all be lying. I mean, ACO Insurance didn't come because, you guys
charity organization.
We're halfway through the deal. We don't need to talk about that. It's all good.
They come out saying they're like, you sold your soul to them. They're saying shit like they're number one in India and stuff like that. And I'm like, great. Yeah, all of us have to sell our soul at some point.
To be honest, I don't really know what it is. So just
let's for now say it's the number one insurance in all of India, and every guy uses this.
Actually, India's first tech tech first insurance company. So
I actually thought it was an abattoir.
It doesn't fucking make sense, right? What is tech first insurance company? Like everybody's been working on computers for the last I don't know how many years. But anyways, let's give them credit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's just computers. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's all
that's
online
right.
these days. It's all online these days.
That's it. We're just happy that they're giving us the money. It motivates us. To say their name a couple of
They're not
times.
giving you money, are they?
Some marketing manager somewhere is having a hard on and jerking himself off right now, but that's great.
Well, you know, maybe that's why you're better at business than us. Like, okay, you're motivated by money. All we want is a Sunrisers Hyderabad helmet. That's all we've been asking the marketing team for, literally. Karen, if you're watching, mail me that Sunrisers Hyderabad helmet.
Get us
Orange,
the lid.
We'll do anything. We want lids and we want to do content in helmets.
Wait, you haven't
Not
asked
rich. No, if RCB want to send us a helmet, we'll wear it gladly. I just got a real thing for lids.
Okay, I'm going to talk to the business head right at the back of this. And I'll get it all set for you guys. He's in the next room. He's in the next room, like right here.
See that? All good.
He's a lovely
I can wear
guy.
that.
I'll tell him that you guys want one. But again, after what you guys did with that interview with Kyle Jamieson, out you're getting helmets.
But don't you think that was a Streisand effect? You know, you know, it was like the more that it was taken away, the more people wanted it. And when I say that the content was taken away, we literally just took it off because Dan Christian said, you know, they've talked about my contract. I'm like, oh, well, don't want you to lose your contract. So that's it.
I'll tell you, my only thing about Kyle Jamieson is he said a lot of things, but he was too tall and I'm too short and everything just went above my head. So I'm just gonna
Danish, like, just speaking about the things you do outside of cricket, like, do you find cricket a particularly like easy subject matter for comedy, or do you find it harder? And do you think cricketers are particularly funny, or do you think they're actually very numbers driven semi-autists?
Okay, I'll tell you. I think the comedy that I generate out of just real life and observation is a lot easier. When you're in this environment for 2 months, it's at least focused. And for the longest time, man, it was. I mean, even now, a lot of it is improv. But now I have a writing team that sits out of Bengaluru and helps me. So that kind of works. Are cricketers very funny people? No. Joke telling isn't.
It's a laugh of recognition. Yeah.
Like joke telling isn't necessarily like their biggest skill set, right? It's not like anybody's going to look at a cricketer and go, "Oh my God, this guy can tell jokes and get out of a situation." There are a few of them who are really funny. You have to give them credit. But no problem. I have no problem in supplying lines to them, because if you look at a lot of Mr. Nags' content around cricket, it's a lot of down on myself, or I'm punching down on the character, Mr. Nags. I'm punching the character. I'm never punching the cricketer. It's very rare that I punch the cricketer, but that never happens. That rarely happens because it won't pass through edits and sort of, you know, the hierarchy that's within the system. It won't pass.
We know.
Yeah. So there are so many jokes that you sometimes want to say and then you just censor them yourself. Or, you know, they get censored by the editor. And then it kind of goes. But it's rarely a moment where some of them are really funny. I must say, some of them are really funny.
Is there any in particular that you'd shout out as being like naturally funny?
I'll tell you, okay, naturally funny. I'll be very honest with you. And I'm not saying this because, you know, I want a job for a few more years, but dude, actually Virat is very funny.
Yeah. I bet.
Really?
He's very good with impersonations. He's very good with voices. He's very good with like mannerisms, mechanisms. And let's be honest, 7 years ago when I started with Mr. Nags, he was the first person to take to it. The first ever video that came out was with him, which means to say the guy has a sense of humor.
Definitely helps.
I've in fact said the most brutal things to him. I've said shit to him like, oh wow, we've lost 3 matches in a row and we're still on a yacht celebrating. And he's laughed. It's on record, right? So he's got a great sense of humor, honestly. if you ask me among moving away from Hugh, I think the other person who was really funny at RCB was Shane Watson, because I think in general he's quite a personality. AB again, great sense of understanding of the content. You know what I mean? He understands content. I don't know about the humor or not, but like, for example, if he was in this podcast, he'd know exactly what and how much he has to give.
Yes.
He's a great, like he'd be a dream broadcaster.
Yeah.
Intelligent person, and fortunately a great friend as well is Harshal. Harshal Patel is an incredibly smart guy. Like when I say smart, really super smart, like one of those well-read, informed guys. Yeah. Who else? That's it. That's broadly, I can think of people with personalities.
What about like, okay, so if you had like Kohli, Dhoni, Dravid, Tendulkar, Sunny G, and Dada, like who do you feel is most likely to kill you if you interviewed them badly, and why?
I'll tell you, I don't know if any of them would kill me, but if you ask me who I'd like to be killed by,
yes,
I'd switch your question there.
That's a good. That's a better question.
I like it,
dude. Like honestly, like I would if Rahul Dravid had to bring a knife to me and say, "Can I stab you?" I'd be like, "Please go ahead, sir. I love you so much." And after you've stabbed me, don't worry, I'll wipe your fingerprints for you, and I will act like I stabbed myself. Just love, and you can do whatever you want to do to me. I was at this hotel in Bengaluru once called the Oberoi Hotel, and I was with my mother at breakfast, which is a rare occurrence. And we were there, and Rahul Dravid happened to be at that place, at the same hotel, and I said, "Hi, sir." And he looked at me and went, "Hi, Danish." And I swear it to God, I died. I was like, oh my God, Rahul Dravid was my name. You know, think about it, man. You're wearing a wig, a mustache, you're saying shit, and then somebody recognizes you as that, right?
Yeah.
Was
your mum proud? Was your mum proud?
No, she was complaining about the eggs not being done too well. So
what is it, man?
But I told my wife that story. And she thought it was pretty cool that Rahul Dravid kind of knows me by name. That's it. He just told me, "Hi, Danish," once, like, and I died. And that's a story that will remain with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've met people a lot. Like, I'll give you a great example. 2-3 weeks ago, when the IPL auctions happened, and we were all in a bubble, right? So unfortunately, Mr. Hugh Edmonds had a fall. The auctioneer fell down, and I didn't know what was going on until I was telling you about the guy who can send you the helmet. Nikhil, his name is Nikhil, great guy. Nikhil looked at me and said, "Can you host it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Hell yeah.
I'll host the auctions.
Yeah.
So I was in a
Love
room.
that.
I was in a room with some people from BCCI. I was with the production, the producer, the main head, and Mr. Ganguly walked in and said, "What's happening with the auction?" And they said, "He'll do it." They said, "Danish will do it." Again, I died because I was like, "Oh my God, he knows my name." Right? So
yeah.
And then I was about to do it, and then something happened over the next 15 minutes, and then I didn't. But I'm saying that broadly, my interactions with these people have been good. I just feel like they need their space. You sometimes just leave them.
Yeah.
You need to know how far you can go. It's a human skill. It's more like people management than anything else. It's just people management.
It would have been sensational if he did the IPL auction as Nags. That would have been better.
That would have been great. I would have loved to do it as well. And then somebody said, don't
do that.
Somebody said you would have been biased to RCB. And in joke, and I say in joke, I'm looking at the camera and saying, in joke, I said, "Did you see the players they were picking up?" had to stress on joke price there. Yeah, but in joke. Yeah. But it's all fun and games. Like they're okay with me. I can get away with a few jokes, but we're still sensitive. Like, for example, if somebody has a shit day on the field, we're not going to target that person simply because, not because, we have a moral ground that's higher than anybody else or something like that. But dude, all of us suck at our job on different days.
Oh, hell yeah.
All of us do, but I just feel like, Sam, fuck off. Right? All of us suck at our jobs on some days. Right? You don't even have an ACO insurance. Imagine that's how much they trust you. They didn't even give you that standee at the back there. All they have to do like, just imagine how low the level of trust is in that pyramid of trust, right? Like right beneath there. So these guys, I'm kidding, man. So
so good, mate.
we all suck at our job sometimes. I just feel like we come down really harshly on these guys for one over or one ball or so you see from the inside, you know them this well, and you're like, yeah, maybe they don't deserve so much shit. Like, go easy on them. It's fine.
I don't know if anyone's.
I don't know if you realize this. If you look at the stadiums, the moment you enter a game, even before the toss is done, people are already holding 6 and 4.
Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah.
With those boards, right? And then you have a guy holding 9 as well. So just look at where the expectations are, right? Like even before the game has started, right? So everybody wants to see everybody get hit for a 6-4 or a 9, but when the guy actually gets hit, they're like, oh my God, this guy's so bad. Like, it doesn't work.
Or a 69.
Yeah. Sure, why not? Of course. Again, from India, that's one of those Kama Sutra things, right? 69. That's
I think so. I don't.
Right. That's it. We've got sex on the show as well. And it's a lot like that, right? But the point is, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to do that. Which we kind of get being on the inside. I think all of us can understand that.
Mr. Nags is so well known, Danish, and I just want, like, we have this all the time with us. Like, people will come up and say, "Oh, you should do this tweet, or you should do this, or the great cricketer should do this." Like, do you get, like, for example, what about if I pitched to you, like, instead of Mr. Nags, there was an alter ego, Mr. Bags, and he's got a little bum bag, and like it's when he's sort of, that's his dark side. Like, do you get guys pitching you things like that? Like, how do you?
That's got legs. That's got legs. That idea.
No, that's 20. That's like 1936. I get playing 11 combinations, bro. People send me home to pick. Okay, and I'm like, I can't change the fucking bulb in my building without talking to the entire association. I can't like order food without checking with my wife. You really think I'm gonna go as far as to walking up to Mike Heston and going, Mike, excuse me? He's like, hey, what's the problem? What's happening here? And I'm like, here, Mike, this is the playing 11 that you're going to go with. All right. What are people thinking? Like, I get messages on my Instagram, on Twitter. Like, for example, when we were at the auctions, people were tweeting to me saying, go buy this person. I'm like, I really wish I could. Like, I would just buy him, keep him in the house, and you could come every day and meet the guy for 2 months. He's with me.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. That's an auction.
Yeah. Just imagine, right? Like, if 3 of us could just buy a player each and just keep him. And just keep him.
Like a pet.
I'm pretty sure it's human trafficking, but yeah.
You don't traffic them. Just keep them.
I just keep him. You're just keeping him. Yeah.
They're just
we're not
property.
getting him to do anything. We're giving him a ball and we're telling him bowl to a, I don't know, wall the entire day. And the guy's just doing, right? Bowl 4 overs and then sit down, watch TV with us, like eat dinner with us or whatever. But I can't do that, right? I can't buy a guy like that at the auctions. I just can't. Like Mumbai Indians 6 crores, RCB 6.5, and then like an idiot, I put my hand up. I'm like 7. I'll take him home. I can't say that.
Do you feel like it though?
No, I don't. Never. I live in a 3-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city. It's enough for my wife, me, and the 2 cats. But it's that, like, people sometimes just go, they send me playing 11s, they send me combinations. So this whole idea of Mr. Bags, that's done. They've exhausted creativity. Now they're talking about logistics and, team combinations. Now we've gone on to selecting the 11. With that far in this now. We've gone on to auctions. So, we've gone to who should be the captain, like recommendations to captains to me. Like what I don't know what that person's thinking. I love that person. I always say this, that I'm so glad you think I'm so influential in the system, but I'm not. Like, just not. I'm just not. I know I can say hi, I can say good morning, and the conversation stops there.
Yeah. You've never been tempted to just make one cricketing suggestion to one player or coach or something, just like, I just think you got to toss it up, Yuzi.
No, I'm not. I never played. Dude, I never made it to my school team. That's how bad I was. You really think I'm going to walk up in a professional environment and tell people like, hey, you should have played this shot? They'll be like, get the fuck out of here. And
yeah.
Right? It's like somebody coming to me and telling me, hey, you got to say a joke like this. And I'm like, I've made a career doing this for 10 years. I might not get everything right, but I've gotten most right. So I think you need to kind of respect boundaries. I think in general, I feel like people don't get that. Like, it would be amazing. I wish I wielded so much sort of thing that I could just walk up to Mike and be like, Mike, that's your playing 11. You're going ahead with today. And Mike is like, as you say. Next thing I know, I'm going to be on a flight from Bombay back to Bangalore. I know that's going to happen, right? Like, they're going to be like, leave now. But we never do that. But having said that, for example, the team events, like I love these guys for that. Like, Mike is the kind of person who will say, Dan, I want you to plan like team events. Like, I want you to do like a quiz night and make sure everyone's involved. And he knows I'll involve everyone. So it's very sort of, so they know what I'm good at, and they know they can trust me with that. They know I will never interfere in that. Dude, to survive for 7 years in the system, you got to know where the lines are. You got to know where the lines are, and there are lines, and it's best not to cross them. I feel like as a human being, I wouldn't kind of cross them, and then as a professional, I wouldn't cross them either.
Okay, that's a no to Mr. Bags, I think. So he goes, anything else?
No, enough for me, mate.
Danish, thank you so much,
for having me.
my man. I know you're into quarantine, or you're about to get into quarantine, to go around. You are in quarantine.
Yeah, let me show you a little bit of Bombay then. It's not like...
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Not my city really, but that's Bombay.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
That thing's called the C-Link. That's called the C-Link.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
The bridge. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's whatever, like wild, whatever. I don't know. Nature. I don't know. Let's just call it nature.
Okay.
There's trees in that. Yep.
The wild.
That's interesting.
That's a swimming pool right there.
Oh, looks inviting.
That's commons. That's commons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not opened.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I have. There's a little bit that's open in the corner there.
You got in the corner. Okay. It's not sealed.
And those are other rooms. On that side.
Good.
Yeah. I feel like I'm there with you. I feel like I feel I'm experiencing the room.
This is 2.5 months basically, or 3 months. The first time I walked into a bubble, I came out with I was feeling depressed. I was like, shit, what am I doing? The first bubble that I ever did.
Oh, so you're in quarantine now, but that's not your room for 2 or 3 months, like that particular room, because that's your room. That's a big deal.
That's it. No, I'll tell you. I mean, my wife and I are super organized. Poor thing sleeping there.
It's great. Great TV.
It's just delved up into like just some...
Oh, look at that. Look, he folds and everything.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Some tendencies there. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's all beautifully lined up.
And we've got some puzzles. And we both got some puzzles. So we're going to be doing some puzzles, and I brought my guitar along. It's quite 3 months is a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you play? Are you decent?
What, cricket or the guitar?
Oh, we talked about cricket. A guitar.
I suck at both, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both require hand-eye coordination, and I just suck at both.
Do you think like big hands or small hands is better for guitar playing at the fret?
I think I've seen a few videos of these American people, you know, those guys with like those yellow teeth and stuff like that. Like, hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to play guitar. So
Yes.
you know, those guys have a solution to everything, right?
Yeah.
And those guys claim to be, they claim that you can play with any sort of fingers. If you've noticed, they'll say shit like, yeah, man, I've got these calluses on my hand. I've been playing guitar for the last 20 years. And then
and they just wail.
Right? Like you put this fancy electric guitar or whatever. All I know is I started learning. So Harshal and I share the same guitar teacher.
Oh, nice.
And Harshal is still at a stage where he's plucking strings. Like if he's playing a song, still at like, like he's really bad. I'm a little better than him. We're learning from this coach called Bruce Lee Money, who has a band called Thermal and a Quarter. You should check the music out. They're pretty cool. So we're both learning from him. He's a good teacher. So yeah, so this bubble is a mix of a lot of things. Like the last time I was in the bubble, I did a writing course from Second City in Chicago. I don't know if you guys have heard of Second City. It's one of the best comedy schools in the world. I did a writing course from there. I started, you know, I've been trying to learn the guitar over the last couple of bubbles. I have my wife. I'm trying to study her. She's trying to study me. I'm her subject. So yeah, so it's fun.
Oh, wow. That sounds so fun. All right. Danish, SAIT, thanks so much for the chat, brother. Really appreciate your time. All the best for RCB, Nags, everything. Your film that's out. Your film, it's called what? Sold? Was that right?
No. So that film I did for money. Let's not talk about that. That film I did for money. I didn't
forget that.
Yeah,
I think it's done pretty well. I don't know. I don't know why we're talking. It's not going to release anywhere. It's released, but I don't know if it'll release.
Well, we're talking about it because I just wanted to show you. I did some research and it was inaccurate.
Let's not talk
and
about
wrong.
that film then. Let's not talk about that film. We'll talk about. Let's start this. Oh, thank you so much for talking about my film. It's called such a fucking chat.
I'm sorry.
I had two releases at the start of this year. One was a film called One Cut, Two Cut, and the other was this political satire called Humble Politician Nagraj.
Yes, saw that.
And they both, received a lot of people watched it. It was received well. The series was received better. The film, of course, people said, "Don't step out of your house." That's why I'm in a bubble right now. But you know how it is, man. This business, you get brickbats and you get bouquets in equal amounts. And one of them shouldn't get to the head, and the other shouldn't get to the heart. So head down, just keep working. That.
Nice one. Thanks so much for joining us, mate. Danish, SAIT, everybody. This is kicking off our IPL coverage for the next couple of months. And obviously Danish has let us know that he's going to be working very hard over the next few months as well. Hopefully one day we'll get to see you over there, mate. Maybe the next IPL.
Oh yeah. Either the next IPL or if I travel for the World Cup to Australia.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. From there, I'd love to hang out with you guys.